Hello, hello, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, we are good. So I am in the lobby now. Let me show you guys the results of the picks. So Team Ripper decided to ban out Infernal Shrines and Towers of Doom. Baby Makers banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Volskaya, and it was picked Infernal Shrines by Baby Makers. So there we go. This is going to be Game 1 of Heroic League Team Ripper versus Baby Makers, NGS Season 11. So, I hope you guys are ready. I'm super stoked about it. Yeah, let's fucking get to it, dude. So, we're in the lobby. It should start here soon. And then we'll be getting into the match. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out different as compared to the A Division matches that I played and casted. So back when I used to be a player in NGS, I was in A Division, so most of my familiarity comes from about that range of skill level and play. So I'm actually really excited to see how this goes and see just how well Storm League can play. So it's always interesting to see like different leagues and what some of their picks and bans and strategies are in general. So we'll see what these teams are going to bring to the table during the draft. But either way, it should be interesting. There's no banter in the lobby, just so everybody knows. Instead, it's just a bunch of highs and hellos. But that's okay. Is this still going? It does look like it's going. Mostly be lurking. No worries, Pogs. Thanks for stopping by, man. Cool. So hopefully all my stuff should be good to go and we won't have any narrating issues this time. Or like issues with the in-game stuff. Although I do need to change this real quick. Where is it? It's going to be under... No, it's going to be under... Shoot. Let me pull up the draft real quick. There we go. Amazing story of two teams. Well, we're gonna try. I have wine, so give me a bit to kind of catch up, and we'll be telling some stories, dude. Right. I'm gonna have to change a couple settings once we get into game, because I had set my stuff up for Observer, but I'm not currently in that mode right now. But that's okay. It should only take a second. So once we get into game, I'll be able to fix that. Let me go ahead and pause the music. Womp. There you go. Cool. And then I will turn on in-game music as well once we actually get into it. So first ban, this is going to be Baby Makers with the first ban. They're going to ban Hogger. All right, so I'm not too surprised about that. Hogger is, like I said before, a very strong hero, very strong in the off lane. And I see a lot of people banning him pretty much across all of the different skill levels. So not surprised about that at all. In the right hands, he can be a nightmare to deal with. He can do a ton of damage to the back line. He's hard to lock down. He's hard to blow up. So, good ban. Safe ban. We'll see. Okay, there's a Garrosh ban. I suspect that's probably just a standard, like, they don't want to deal with that tank type ban. We see that fairly often as well. So Garrosh ban, not too surprised about that either. There's still lots of tanks available for them, but the Garrosh can just provide so much displacement that he can be an absolute nightmare in a coordinated team when they have good blowout follow-up for Garrosh's throw. Medivh, that might be a targeted ban. I actually personally did not scout these teams ahead of time, so I'm not sure what their players bring to the table. So that could be either because Team Rippers has a strong... Wait, You know what? I really hope I don't have this mixed up. They might be flipped. I can fix it easy enough. So wait, this is first pick is going to the person that did not pick the map. So Baby Makers picked the map, which means they're not going to be first pick. So let's swap this. Yeah. Oh, also my logos are wrong. Ha! Yo, Procasters. Let me fix that real quick. Heroic. Left side is Baby Makers. Right side is going to be Team Rippers. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. It is the real Miller. We're already screwing things up. All right, so that should be good. So Team Rippers with the first pick, they got... Yeah, that's right. So Team Rippers with the first pick, they're going to pick up Diablo, a strong frontline tank. The Baby Makers are going to follow up with a Sonya Uther. That Uther is probably going to be a double support, is my guess. Also, they did ban the Tychus as well. So interesting. Tychus is actually pretty strong right now, so that's not too surprising. But Team Rippers is going to follow up with a Stukov and a Zul'jin. Zul'jin provides them a lot of shred, a lot of damage. A lot of potential damage as well, just scaling into the late game. So that could be a strong pick if this game continues on and he can get his auto attacks, which against an Uther and a Sonya is very possible. I suspect that Baby Makers is looking for the double support comp here. So I'm curious to see what Team Ripper does in response. With that Stukov Diablo, they could honestly combo so well off of, if they play it correct, the Diablo stun into the Stukov root silence could potentially give them enough blow up that it won't matter if they have two supports and they could still just blow up a target and make them dead. But I am curious to see if they try to... So they did ban out the Deckard, so they're trying to choke out some of the stronger healers that combos well. Yeah, okay. So there's the Ana. So an Ana, Greymane, Uther, Sonya. That's a pretty terrifying combination. If they pick... So the Greymane is going to provide a lot of damage. The Sonya's is a lot of damage as well as a bruiser. And with that double support Uther or Ana to back him up, he's going to be able to jump in and do a lot of damage potentially and still be kept alive. I do take off the camera during the game. Yes, Tosi. Team Ripper responding with Orphea and Thrall. Okay. That's a lot of damage, actually. So the Orphea Zul'jin as a spellcaster auto attacker is some really serious damage. It is a little... I don't want to say it's light on CC, right? Because Thrall can rotate down with the Wolf, and it can be into a root, into a Stukov slow, into a Stukov silence with Diablo stuns. They have a decent amount of CC, but honestly, they have an obscene amount of damage just with that Zul'jin Orphea. So we'll see if they're going to be able to burst through the healing that Baby Makers bring to the table. But the Baby Makers is going to respond with a Maiev. So they're actually just running a Sonya Uther. So the Uther main take, I guess, Sonya off lane is my guess. And then a Maiev for the pullbacks, Greymane for the damage. That's a bold strategy. We'll see how that plays out. I think I've seen Uther tank before, so it's not too surprising. Hopefully Team Rippers, we'll see if Team Rippers has prepared against this and has something in the cards to be able to deal with this. But yeah, without the Ana, they already picked the Stukov, so they can't use the Ana for the anti-heals. So I think they're going to have to blow up these targets quickly, or else they're just going to be kept alive. The fact that they don't have a main tank, like Uther works pretty well as a main tank, but he's not the tankiest. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull up the game screen. Like I said, I need to change this profile real quick. Boop. Bop. Turn to game. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce the teams. Let me make sure everything looks good. Yeah, it does look good. All right, cool. So on the left, we have Baby Makers with Paper Tanks on the gray main, DS Shibes as the Uther, main tank Uther, Frecklebob as the Ana as the secondary support, Dead Wish as the Maiev, and Malthanius as the Sonya. Over here on the right, we have Team Rippers with XXJD on the Thrall, ADES on the Zul'jin, looking for Naniel on the Orphea. We've got Hope on the Stukov, and who did I miss? Red XI, or Red, what is that, 11 or something like that, on the Diablo. So, gonna have some middle shenanigans. I don't think either team is really gonna be looking for a fight per se, especially not Baby Makers, since they do have a Zul'jin on the other side, and they're not gonna want to give that Zul'jin unnecessary stacks that they don't have to. Quick clear coming out from Baby Makers, and they are going to immediately start rotating down. Up in the top lane, we're going to have a Thrall versus a Sonya up here. I suspect with the amount of self-healing that these two have, there's not going to be a strong winner there. Diablo trying to engage onto the Maya, but she's just going to be able to jump up. She'll be just fine. So yeah, we're just going to have this easy rotation top, mid, or mid and bottom between these two teams. Maya getting stunned again, but again with that Uther there to heal her up, she's going to be just fine. I don't suspect they're going to have an easy time getting any kills in the early stages of this game. I think they're going to really struggle to actually kill anybody, especially with this double support. I think Team Rippers is going to have a very hard time actually getting any picks until they get their level 10s and get some of their power spikes later on. That gray main is absolutely just going to shred these camps, though. That gives them a lot of camp clear. It looks kind of like Team Rippers wants to do something about this, but they're not going to be in a position to do anything, and are just going to have to clear this camp instead. Let's take a look over at top lane. Yep, pretty boring. Just going to clear out middle. Oh, Diablo's getting pretty deep, getting stunned. So much damage coming out, and he is going to fall. With that anti-healing grenade, he is not able to survive. And the Stukov was not in any sort of position to be able to help him. So I don't know if that Diablo just stepped out too far, or what that was. If he was trying to go for an engage, he just looked like he was maybe a little bit too far away from the team there. Sonya and Thrall just, you know, having a little powwow, heading back to top lane so that they can just duke it out again. Back to mid. Diablo's back. Going to be farming his souls. The first objective is bottom. And right now, it's honestly anybody's game as to who's going to have the advantage. Maiev jumping on Orphea. Orphea just walks up. Yeah, no real damage exchange there. We have the Ana and the Grey Mane quickly clearing their camp, and the Stukov Zul'jin clearing their camp as well. And they're both probably going to cap here just in a second. Baby Maker's already capped theirs, and there is Rippers. Big engage on the Orphea, just gets blown up. That was a very fast reaction. So the Orphea just rotating, not the safest of ways. This Diablo getting stunned as well, but he's very tanky. I think they're going to have a hard time killing him. But at this point, it looks like Rippers is just going to have to give this first objective over to Baby Makers. And I think that's kind of something that they're okay with. Like, obviously, they don't want to give these picks. They don't want to get these kills over to Baby Makers because they don't want this team to snowball. But I think they kind of correctly understand that at this stage of the game, they're not going to win these engagements. Like, they have the double support. It's extremely hard for you to actually fight and be able to defeat that sort of team with that double healing composition. So it looks like they're just going to push as a 3-man, having Maiev sitting in top, Sonya sitting mid. I mean, this is an early Punisher, so you can't expect too much out of it. And then with that Zul'jin just shredding it, that Punisher does go down pretty quickly. Their wall and fort relatively healthy still. Moving up here, we got a Sonya and a Maiev jumping onto the Thrall as he rotates up. Lots of damage, but a little bit of a misfire. What a root. Rooting for Diablo coming in. Damage onto the Grey Mane, but he just gets healed up, and with that armor, he's going to be hard to kill. Grey Mane does drop down to 50%. Diablo is looking. He should have... Oh, there's another root by the Thrall. Some big damage on the Sonya. She's dropping low, getting stunned. But the Diablo can't really fight too much longer. He's getting super low. Down the Thrall goes. Diablo goes down as well. That anti-healing grenade preventing them from being able to actually do anything about that. Here's some more damage, some more stuns, and the Stukov drops as well. Very well played by Babymakers. It looked kind of like Rippers were going to be able to get a pick there, but the healing is just too much. At this stage, they just can't actually blow up a target fast enough. And if they give Babymakers any time at all to use their healer's abilities, they just are back up to full health immediately. So very well played by Babymakers. That does give them a whole level lead advantage at this stage, which lets them steal this camp in relative safety. Diablo coming back now. It looks like they're just going to clear this camp quickly. And Babymakers are fine with that. They're going to rotate up and take their camp next. Easy peasy. Sonya rotating back up top while they clear mid and Orphea soaking bottom. This camp's going to drop while Uther, who has mana problems, is not actually going to go back for mana. He'll just try to soak up some globes and get his mana back that way. There is the 10. So Babymakers now have the 10 advantage. There's a pull onto the Thrall, followed by the Uther stun. Lots of damage. Thrall's just running away, though. The Greymane jumps on, but is not able to do enough damage, and that Thrall is going to be able to walk away. But they're going to just turn this into a push, pushing down mid, taking these towers. Meanwhile, Rippers is going to have to cycle around to the safe side, and then Babymakers is just going to back out immediately. As soon as Rippers are in a good position to be able to defend, they just back right out. Very well played by Babymakers. They are about to lose their level 10 advantage, though. We did, as far as level 10s, we have Warden's Cage, we have Eye of Horus from Ana, we have the Divine Shield by the Uther, probably for the Greymane, or actually Maiev. There's a lot of good targets for that, actually. And we have Curse Bullet for the Greymane. And then now we have the level 10 for Rippers. As they engage onto the Sonya, she drops down to about half. There's the Eye of Horus keeping her alive, but not enough. With that Stukov slow and the silence, she just cannot survive. The Rippers did just get 10. We've got Apoc, Eternal Feast, Swipe, Earthquake, and Tazdingo as the picks. Thrall getting stunned. Curse Bullet bringing him down low. He drops the Earthquake. It looks like they're just going to back out, re-heal back up. But this does leave Rippers in a good position to be able to take this objective. And they do have the advantage with 20 skeletons already taken at this stage. Babymakers pushing in now, trying to contest this objective. But they're already behind. The engage onto the Maiev, who immediately blinks out. Uther being dropped down to half. Diablo's not really taking very much damage. The Orphea up here doing a ton of damage. There's the Curse Bullet. He's down to half, but he's still healthy. Uther does drop, which does give them more healing. The Warden's Cage is dropping. Man, Babymakers is dropping fast. The Diablo's getting low. Is he gonna? Oh no, he does get pulled back, and he does drop. The Orphea, though, doing some damage. Oh, but the Eye of Horus. And the Orphea goes down. What a trade. This objective does go over to the side of Rippers, though. And this Zul'jin has just been auto-attacking this whole time. What a fight. So a 2-for-2 trade, but the Rippers do end up getting the objective, which puts them in the advantage here. And with that Zul'jin Diablo, they're going to be able to push pretty quickly. But that Punisher is dropping very fast. So they're not going to be able to get very much out of that at all. In fact, they didn't even get a tower, which is not exactly where you want to be, but they couldn't really push as 5 since they lost 2 in that big fight. So an interesting team fight, an interesting result of that objective, where I think neither team is really able to get a lot out of that. So still very even, although Babymakers do still have that level advantage. So let's see if they're going to be able to do something with that now that they're level 13. They did pick up their 13 talents, which means they have the advantage for probably another minute or so. And it looks like they're going to want to try to push bottom with this. Ripper is moving down in order to counter. The Diablo Eternal Feast maybe a little bit early, doesn't catch anybody. But it does force Babymakers back, and it does look like they're going to be able to clear this, saving the fort. So deciding to not push the issue. Rippers still don't have 13, but they didn't want to risk it. They just backed out as soon as they saw some of those ults drop. Sonya rotating down to soak bottom. It looks like Babymakers is going to push top instead. 13s are picked up by Ripper now, and they are moving up to try and counter this. And yeah, immediately Babymakers just back out. And that's the thing, like, I think they kind of have to play like this, right? They don't have that strong frontline engage that you would have if you had like an ETC or a Diablo or some of these other Garrosh or some of these other strong tanks. Oh, engage onto the Sonya. She's dropping low. The Eye of Horus, though, able to keep her alive. What a fantastic use of the Eye of Horus. Pulled back in by the Maya with the Warden's Cage. Diablo drops low with the Cursed Bullet. But the Sonya is invulnerable, and she's just absolutely wrecking the back line. Zul'jin pops his Tazdingo. He's low, and he is going to fall. That Sonya drops low. The Greymane dies. That Sonya is just able to heal up on the entire team. I can't even tell who that is. The Maiev jumped in, but dropped. Uther getting low. He might just want to drop in order to try and heal his team. Although with the Ana, he can just keep him alive. There goes the Uther. The Uther drops. The Ana is falling back, but with those Uther heals, he should be just fine. That Sonya really wants that kill. But the Stukov is going to be able to get away, which means Diablo is re-engaging onto the Sonya, but I don't know that they're going to be able to kill her, to be honest. If they could get a stun or some sort of CC, there's a root. There's some damage. Oh, but the Stukov does not quite get it. Oh, but the Diablo stun into the backhand slap. And the Sonya does go down. Very well played by the Team Ripper. That definitely went in the favor of Team Ripper there. It was a long, drawn-out fight. I actually don't even know how many people died. So let's see here. The Uther died. Ana lived. The Maiev died. The Greymane died. And the Sonya died. So everybody except for the Ana died in that engagement. It was just over such a long fight that they all came back on time. But this does give Ripper the advantage in this objective. They're going to be able to get an early lead. And it doesn't look like Babymakers is going to contest it at all. In fact, they're going to just push bottom instead. They say, you know what, fine, you guys take this one. We're going to get value elsewhere on the map. And so they do take bottom 4. Maiev up here, but I don't think she's going to be looking to really engage this. They're just going to try to do some damage to this tower and this wall in preparation for this Punisher so they get as much value as they can. It looks like Ripper might be just leaving it. It's hard to say. Down here, Greymane grabbing camps, just being annoying, getting as much value as they can since they knew that they weren't going to be able to get this objective. But here comes the Punisher, which is a Mortar Punisher, which means he can do a lot of siege damage, potentially. Jump on the Maiev, jumps, dodges that, very well played. And he's going to turn around and just hit this fort. Which, if Team Ripper plays this right, they could possibly get some value on the keep as well. If they choose to push the Greymane, take some damage, but that heal, yeah, unstoppable. Very nice unstoppable, preventing the Diablo from that stun. That was an impressive unstoppable. Jump with the Maiev, pulling the Zul'jin back with the Warden's Cave. He does have to Tazdingo. Here comes the heal from the Ana. He's getting low. He is able to heal up. No, he drops. The Zul'jin is down. And the Greymane just gets healed right back up. Meanwhile, the Sonya is just absolutely in their backline. The Earthquake drops, slowing them down, but the Thrall does drop. And the Greymane wants more. He's still going. And with the heals to back him up, he can do that. So Babymaker able to turn that fight around and take 2 and defend the Punisher at their keep. Which means now, I'm curious what they're going to do with this. It looks like they're just rotating straight bottom to defend this wall, or to push this wall in this keep. Since the wave is pushed up, it does give them the option to do that. But Team Ripper already knows that's what's happening and has rotated in a position to try and defend it. Stun onto Diablo. Yeah, it looks like Babymakers is going to fall back. Not quite willing to commit too much there with Zul'jin and Thrall coming back quickly. They're going to have to fall back, and they're going to just take this camp instead. That's a consolation prize. Meanwhile, Sonya in mid lane. Diablo looks like he's going for it. The push, the pull, followed by the push again. But she just spins in with that Eye of Horus. The turnaround. They are coming up to engage. Maiev coming in, but the Orphea is able to push them out with that Eternal Feast. Sonya dropping down low, but she's going to be just fine. That is really impressive use of Eye of Horus. I'm super impressed by that. So the Sonya gets engaged on. The Ana uses Eye of Horus to keep her alive, while the rest of the team immediately rotates up to try and turn it into a team fight. And that Eye of Horus is able to keep that Sonya alive long enough for them to do something like that. So that is a very, very nice use of that ult. That's really cool to see. A lot of times you see nano boosts, especially with somebody like a Maiev who can get a lot of damage value out of it, a lot of potential damage out of it. But it's really cool to see Eye of Horus instead coming out into a game like this and used in the way that it is. Diablo just pushing those waves back. He does get pulled out by the Maiev with the stun and the Cursed Bullet. He drops and he does go down. Divine Shield out on the Sonya. She's still backing out though, along with the Greymane. A great pick by the team Baby Makers. Able to just burst down that Diablo. It doesn't matter how much health you have. If you have a Greymane with a Cursed Bullet, anybody is a target. If you can lock them down to guarantee that you hit with that Cursed Bullet, it just can do so much damage. Engage onto the Greymane, but unstoppable. And he looks like he is going to be able to walk away, and that Uther is able to stun and make that peel happen. Objective down in bottom lane. Both teams still in a good position. Divine Shield is down, but the rest of the ults are up and ready to go. Meanwhile, everything is up in just a moment. PP, pause. Oh, yep, we need to pause. Looks like Diablo got dropped. So we're going to have a quick pause. Hopefully it won't take too long. Oh, looks like we're back in it. So it should be a short pause. The experience advantage is leaning towards Baby Makers right now. I'm surprised at how few mistakes have been made. I feel like at this stage that, like right around this stage, when you get 16s, is kind of when a lot of the times that double support comp starts to fall off. But Baby Makers have been doing a very good job of keeping it live. Engage onto the Uther. He drops super low. With that silence, he isn't able to get his heals off, and he does drop. Sonya now retreating. That Eternal Feast coming down for some damage. Uther still healing people up as that Ghost Uther. Orphea moving in to try and do some damage. That Sonya does drop low. The Warden's Cage pulls everybody in. So much damage from the Maya, my goodness! The Team Ripper is just getting destroyed. The Zul'jin used his Tazdingo, but it just doesn't matter. That was so much damage. The pull with the Maiev and with the Greymane, they should be able to kill that Orphea, but she's doing a lot of damage, and she does. She is able to kill the Greymane. But that still favored Baby Makers with an Ana barely alive and a Maya barely alive. That Maya jumped in with that Warden's Cage at just the right time and was just dumping damage. Her Qs were slapping. She was hitting like 3 or 4 players all at once, and she just melted them. That was an incredible play by the Maiev, and turned that fight that honestly looked like it was a very bad situation for Baby Makers into a really good situation. Well, not the best situation, but like definitely a win. There we go. So very well played by Baby Makers. So like I said, like I'm really impressed to see this double support comp continue to be effective. I think the one thing that could change that is once Team Ripper gets their 20, they might be able to do enough to counteract the healing. But the unstoppables and the healing and the armor that's coming out is just so hard to deal with. Maiev and Sonya are just incredibly hard to kill. And with that Uther ult, the Divine Shield able to come out and save anybody who's, you know, in a bad position or too deep, or just to allow like somebody like the Sonya to just jump on the back line and just do a bunch of damage is really effective. So, but yeah, they want to avoid all of these hard engages. There's the Uther getting pulled out by the Diablo again. Stunned. Uther does drop down to half. There's a Divine Shield on 2 different people. The Greymane going in. The Sonya's still just spinning around. Ana, Eye of Horus, gonna have to get out because of the Eternal Feast that was put on her. The Diablo going in for the Ana, and she drops super low and does go down. The Ana is down. Zul'jin getting low as well, but he is just auto-attacking like crazy, and he gets healed up with that 20 advantage. This is what I'm talking about. That 20 advantage is giving them just enough tools to be able to counteract that healing. With that Zul'jin self-heal, that Earthquake shields that coming out. I'm assuming that's what he took. Let's see here. Yep, the Earthquake shields, which is, or Earthen shields, such a good talent. So these 20 upgrades really giving them just enough to be able to push out and win that team fight, and that is the weakness of the double support. If you can't get the engages the way that you want them to go, when you get to the late game, it becomes extremely difficult. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. And they are going straight for the core with this. With the other team dead for another 10 seconds on the Ana, 20 on the Uther, the Diablo's getting low, and the Greymane looks like they want to try and do something, but I don't know that they can actually stop this. Ana is up now. Diablo is getting low. They are going to just try to burst this down. The Thrall trying to do as much damage as they can. Stukov punching it. Orphea doing as much damage as she can. It does look like the core is going to drop. And that is game number 1. Team Rippers just patiently waiting until the last 2020 engage fight and just winning one team fight and turning it into a victory. Fantastic first match. We'll hop over to the game summary screen. There you go. You guys can look at the stats. Greymane doing a lot of damage. Orphea doing a ton of damage. The Zul'jin wasn't able to pump out a lot of damage, but I think he was doing the damage that he needed to at the time that he needed to. So very well played by the whole team, both teams. Fantastic first game. So let me update the stats. So that was Team Ripper won the first match. Very well played. All right. And we are going to have a game number 2. Hey! Fujin with a raid. Thanks, Fujin. I appreciate it. Very nice. How was your guys' match? Or the match that you were casting? I didn't actually see who you were casting this time. But appreciate the raid. You guys just missed the first match of this best of 3 in Heroic Division. Team Rippers were able to take it off of Baby Makers, who honestly were in a strong position like the whole game. It felt like Baby Makers were doing very well the whole time, and then it just came down to one level 20 fight that just completely turned it. And then as soon as they won that fight, they just immediately went and pushed core and were able to win. So fantastically played by Team Ripper. Let's see. Let's see if this next game is happening. Trying to see if anybody's like messaging. I don't see it anywhere. I'm going to assume that these teams know what they're doing. I really hope that they do, because I sure as heck don't know what I'm doing. So, here's to hoping. Let's get... Oh, there it is. All right. Here we go. So, let's see here. I really hope that I was getting the teams right this whole time, because if not, that's pretty embarrassing. All right, cool. All right, I am glad. I was correct. I was a little bit worried. All right, so the next one is going to be Dragonshire. Ready. And we are pulling it up now. Draft will start soon. Oh, I forgot to turn on the music. Let's do that so it's not quite so awkwardly quiet. Bop. There we go. You're welcome. All right, and we're in the draft. Dragonshire. All right. So I'm curious to see how both of these teams react to that last game. I'm wondering if they're going to just continue to ban, kind of just continue to ban the same strong heroes that they had at the beginning, or if they are instead going to look to try and target a little bit more based on what was just played. Babymakers did play a very strong double support. It didn't pay out for them in the end, but it definitely was played very well, and it's clearly something that they practiced. Hey, Rotten, how's it going, man? Yeah, we're casting some NGS games. This is Heroic Division, Babymakers versus Team Rippers. So far it looks pretty much the same as last time. We've got a Garrosh ban and a Maiev ban. We got a Medivh ban. Medivh just very strong in the hands of a very skilled player. And Garrosh also very hard to deal with in the hands of a skilled player. And a coordinated team with a Garrosh can just be an absolute nightmare to deal with. A Garrosh and a coordinated team can just pick out a single person, tank, doesn't matter, squishy, like if he grabs anybody, they will just get destroyed if they're coordinated and landing all of their combos correctly. It's just a very difficult hero to fight. They are going to ban out the Tychus again, so it looks like they're going to kind of just do the same things where we have a Garrosh and a Tychus ban. There is going to be a Diablo ban, which means Hogger is available. So I'm curious to see if Babymakers picks it up or if Team Rippers is intentionally leaving the Hogger in an attempt to pick him up themselves. So I would be interested to see a Hogger played. You don't see a lot of him played just because he usually gets banned, honestly. There's the Stukov pickup by Babymakers this time. So might be partially a deny pick. And they're going to immediately respond with the Ana. That is, I think, a really good hero or healer for them to pick up because that kind of... Oh, okay. I was going to say, the Ana prevents Babymakers from being able to do that double support comp because of that anti-healing grenade, and it allows them to blow up a single target without worrying about a bunch of burst healing coming out to like keep that person alive. But instead, Team Ripper says, you guys are going to bring an Uther Ana into our game and try to fight us with that? Well, we're going to beat you, and then we're going to use the Uther Ana against you instead. So let's see if Babymakers are prepared and are able to counter this double support comp. They do respond with a Sylvanas and a Muradin. Sylvanas can be quite frightening if they can get an objective and be able to shut down towers. That Dragon Knight is going to be able to absolutely push like a monster and do a lot of damage. The Muradin gives them a lot of good engage. Probably going to go Stone Form unless he's crazy and goes Haymaker, which is possible, but probably not likely. There's a Lost Vikings ban. Yeah, I'm not too surprised about that. Lost Vikings can be a real nuisance on this map. Just an absolute pain in the butt. And especially in the hands of a good player. So, not too surprised to see the Lost Vikings ban just to get rid of some of that shenanigan response that they could do. But that Muradin is going to be able to jump in and really bother the Ana or any of the other backlines. Probably going to be a main tank. Rexar as an offlaner, Orphea for the damage. I'm curious to see if the Ana... I suspect the Ana is going to go Nano Boost this time, just for the Orphea Nano, just because that's such a strong buff on Orphea. She can just dish insane amounts of damage. Insane amounts of damage. Insane amounts. It's so insane! Ah! What are they going to pick here? Chen and Alarak. Okay, Alarak, lots of good damage, some strong silences, the ability to shut down an Orphea, shut down an Uther. Like, Uther runs in and wants to stun, well, you pull the Uther and silence him, and then he can't stun. And if you can blow him up fast enough, then he's less relevant. And then the Chen as the offliner. I'm super shaky on my offlaners and who actually wins that matchup of Rexar versus Chen. I'm curious to see if that's going to just kind of break even. And then Raynor as an additional damage dealer. Man, I guess Uther main tank is just a thing now. I knew it existed, but I didn't think it was going to be this popular. So, very interesting. The Raynor Orphea, kind of like the Zul'jin Orphea, just a ton of potential damage. And could be difficult to deal with. And then the Ana Uther, just very strong support heroes. The Rexar, though, does provide them a decent amount of stun and like pseudo tankability with that bear. So that might work out better for them. We'll see if that helps them in this match. We're going to go ahead and pull up the in-game. You can say goodbye to my pretty face and my wine. And here we go. Game number 2 of Baby Makers versus Team Rippers. So over here on the right, we still have Team Rippers. I don't know if people introduce them every single time. I think I'm going to skip it. You guys know this, like, team. We already introduced them. Team Rippers still on the right as red team. Team Baby Makers over here on the left as the blue team. And we are going to have your typical... Uh-oh, Uther. We might need a pause. Might need a pause.
5.
Yep, there's the pause. Alright. Womp womp. Was that the same Diablo player as last time? So, must be having some internet issues. Very unfortunate. Okay. So, probably Chen and Rexar are going to rotate to the top relatively quickly, and then we're just going to have your typical 4-man rotation mid-bottom. There's no Zul'jin, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see an engage here. Chen jumping in, getting stunned, taking some damage, but he can just reduce so much of that. The anti-healing grenade, though, and yeah, he's just going to drink, and he's perfectly fine. So, you know, a largely meaningless fight at the beginning, as per usual. But hey, you know, you never know. They might, sometimes those fights turn into early kills, which can give you an early advantage, and can kind of snowball out of there, so. It's not like it's not worth doing. You kind of have to, but. We do have this Chen and the Rexar in top. They are going to engage onto the Rexar, and with that Muradin jumping in for the damage, the Stukov slow and the silence, and with the Sylvanas for extra damage on top of that, that Rexar is going to go down. A great pick. A stun onto the Orphea by the Muradin. Jumps in. The Orphea is trying to do some damage and get into a better position. Uther coming up in order to get those heals off to keep Orphea alive. Muradin now getting turned on and is going to drop with that grenade not being needed as the Muradin drops. So great turnaround by Team Rippers, turning that bush gank into a reverse gank and killing Baby Makers instead. So very well played. Both teams looking to try and get their siege, although it looks like Team Rippers is thinking about trying to invade with this Uther coming in. Whoa, actually gets pulled past the silence. They are going to be able to steal that camp, but that slow, or the silence, is doing a bunch of damage, and they're going to just take the camp and back out. Well played by Team Rippers, being aggressive. I'm surprised. That's pretty incredible. That Uther literally got pulled past the Alarak silence, and so it just turned into nothing at all. So it just positioned Uther into a better position. Up here in top, yeah, I think Chen is going to be able to hold that. And meanwhile, down here in bottom lane, it looks like Team Rippers is going to try and just push down this wall, and they're going to succeed with that siege camp. Oh, and yeah, I forgot about that. They stole that camp as well. So, Baby Makers doesn't really have it. Oh, wow. Engage. Whew, I'm blind, dude. Miller blind. Meanwhile, while I was looking down in bottom lane, being completely oblivious, Team Baby Makers were able to rotate up and kill that Rexar again, which means 2 kills on the side of Baby Makers, both of them being on that Rexar. So the Rexar maybe needs to start thinking about playing a little bit farther back, a little bit more safe, or else he's going to just keep getting ganked. And here comes Baby Makers coming down for that engage on the Raynor, but he looks like he's going to be able to walk out. Orphea kind of in a scary spot. Uther's stun onto the Muradin. Oh, that his jump did get canceled, which means the Muradin drops yet again. So another trade, Rexar for a Muradin. This seems to be the trend. Rexar dies and then Muradin dies. So, There you go. Some damage onto the Alarak, and they are able to take that bottom fort. Meanwhile, in top lane, Chen and Rexar are duking it out. Chen is getting low. Rexar, yeah, but the Chen is able to jump onto the Rexar and just do damage to him directly. So, kind of an even trade. They just both get damaged. But it does look like Chen was able to force Rexar off that point. And I think he wisely realized that a gank was probably coming and backed out. Although they are going for that long gank attempt. But Rexar is sitting underneath those towers. He does not want to get caught out. And he sees him now. Oh, the stun does miss, which means Rexar is going to be just fine. But it looks like they're going to try to push top. Meanwhile, down here in bottom lane, Team Ripper is going to push bottom instead, and Alarak is the only one who's down here to be able to defend it. Yeah, Rexar is just going to be able to sit there. They are trying to back out. Oh, but the Rexar... Oh, I can't... No, the Rexar was not able to stop him from backing. So here comes the Muradin coming down to try and stop this push. That is a lot... That is a big wave. And as soon as they show up, yep, Team Rippers is just going to back right out. Get what they can, force the other team to leave, and then just retreat back and take their camps. I really don't think either of these guys is going to be able to win. It's going to take a gank. Back down here, big engagement to Uther. The silence is going to ensure that he drops some damage onto the Orphea, but is able to retreat. The Rainer going to have to ditch that camp, which means Babymakers is going to be able to steal that siege. Very well played by Babymakers. I missed that engage. I keep getting distracted by that top lane. I really want to see who wins, because I don't know who wins. I think it's Chen who wins that offlane situation, because he seems to be consistently getting that point. And with the threat of this team always around to be there for the ganks, kind of forces him to play super careful, super far back. They do have both objectives now. Rexar is moving up to mid in order to defend against the turn-in. But it does force them to kind of make sure to watch multiple points. Alarak getting engaged on, but does pull himself out, and he's going to be just fine. Muradin kind of backing up as well, but the rest of the team has shown up now. They took back bottom, but they might be looking for a fight here. Team Rippers does have the level advantage for the moment. Rexar retreating away from the Chen. Big engage onto the Rainer, who drops low, but is self-healing. It looks like he's going to be able to be just fine. That was a very close call for that Rainer. Almost in a really bad spot. Babymaker's almost able to capitalize on it. Looks like they're going to get it in a position in order to take this dragon. Engage onto the Stukov, who drops very low, is able to heal himself back up. The Uther is getting low as well, but so is the Muradin. Rainer's just auto-attacking away. Anna's here to heal up the Uther as well. Looks like Babymakers is dropping just too low to be able to fight this. So they are going to have to retreat. They have the objective, but they just cannot fight into Team Rippers. And with Team Rippers about to hit 10, there it is. There's level 10. They're going to go in and try to kill this Rainer. They drop him, and he does go down. A very aggressive play with the not even having 10. Oh, and the Muradin does drop from that Eternal Feast. Too much damage. They still don't have 10. That was a very aggressive play. They were able to get that pick on the Rainer. And the Stukov drops as well. Yikes. It was a dangerous play. It paid off kind of at the beginning. They got the Rainer, but they still just did not have 10, and Team Ripper was able to turn around and just absolutely engage on them instead. The barrel able to push the... Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, my goodness. Uther getting into a terrible position with that barrel, pushing him up against the wall. Just Divine shields himself, and Orphea just demolishes the Sylvanas. Good pull and damage, but Team Rippers is able to get the dragon and charges up and just slaps that frickin' Chen. And that panda dies. A terrible, terrible death. Fantastically played. Very well played by the Rexar, getting into that dragon as quickly as possible while that fight was going on, ensuring they get that objective. That gives them a very solid level lead and the ability to push this mid forward. Just going to slap that Alarak away. Goodbye. Still pretty healthy. He's going to take this fort relatively easy. Stukov trying to go for the push, but is not able to get it off. Here comes the barrel, putting the Rainer into a bad spot if possible. It looks like Uther is dropping very low and does go down. The Ana now getting engaged on. Meanwhile, down here in bottom, Rainer's dropping super low and gets absolutely obliterated by that Alarak. Jesus. The Dragon Knight kicking somebody far away. They're still after this Orphea, who's not in a good position at all. Gets stunned, gets silenced. Just has nowhere to go. That's the wrong way, Orphea. And, yep, there he goes. Goes down. Meanwhile, the Ana trying to go in and save the Orphea, trying to do something. And the Muradin and the Chen just jumping on her and punishing her instead. Rexar now on the run. It looks like they're going to come up and try to steal this camp. I think we lost an Uther, but he's already back. There he is. So he sees this coming, but with that Chen barrel pushing him into a bad spot, unfortunately not able to get quite the right angle. This is a lot of damage onto a lot of people. The Stukov goes down, but that freaking Muradin. Oh, Muradin also dropping down. Stormform not being enough. Alarak coming in for the damage. There's that Eternal Feast. Chen is able to get the objective and bounce off. Rexstar dropping super low. He's drinking. He's trying to stay alive. He jumps over the wall and Chen gets away. What a play by Babymakers. What a cheeky fight. Team Ripper is able to punish a lot of that, killing both the Stukov and the Muradin. But Babymakers miraculously able to still steal that camp and get away like bandits. This Chen, what a cheeky Chen. Oh, I can zoom out. Let's do that so you guys can see better. Super pro caster right here, guys. What a cheeky Chen, dude. That was very exciting to see. The great escape. Alright. Down here, they are taking this bottom siege or bruiser camp, which will force that lane. Meanwhile, Babymaker's taking siege to kind of counter that out some. Pull onto the Uther. He drops so low, so fast, and just gets obliterated. He just cannot do anything. He can't heal himself if he's silenced. And Ana wasn't in a position to be able to keep him alive. I don't even think she could have. Even if she was in a position to hit him with everything. I think he still just dropped too fast. There's just too much damage on the side of Babymakers. They are going to be able to take bot. Meanwhile, Chen is taking top. And Muradin looks like he is in a position like he wants to take that next dragon. But it really doesn't look like Team Rippers is looking to give it to him at all. They're going to have to. They have to back out. They just don't have the people. Uther dead, Rexar dead. They just can't do anything about it. Or Rexar, yeah, Rexar is dead. Chen trying to get it. Yep, they are not able to interrupt that, which means Muradin is in the Dragon Knight. Looks like they are going to push bottom with this. Muradin's still looking to get some sort of cheeky engage. He is spotted out. There's the Eternal Feast. Dragon Knight's just going to walk out. No big deal. Rainer's going to do a lot of damage. She's trying to... Oh! That was a great unstoppable and great play by the Rainer, forcing that Dragon Knight in deep. But with that Sylvanas shutting down that keep, it's not nearly as much of a threat as it could have been. Which means the Dragon Knight's going to be able to get that fort. I'm sorry, I said keep. I meant fort. Which means this Dragon Knight's still pretty healthy. Well, it's at a third health, so it's going to drop pretty low. They're going to have to be pretty careful. I think they're going to be looking to just get some Dragon Breaths, get some siege on it, and then just keep the Dragon Live alive to do as much as they can with it before it drops. And it looks like Team Ripper is looking to try and just kill it early. Yeah, as many Dragon Breaths as they can. Chen is going to be hopping out of this dragon, though, so he's going to be... I said Muradin, didn't I? Chen's going to be really hard to kill, and there's the barrel. Pushing the Ana out into a bad position, but gets the Divine Shield. Is going to be just fine. There's the Eternal Feast. Uther dropping down to half health. Chen dropping super low. Lots of damage. He's still not dead, though. That damage reduction keeping him alive for now, but he does go down. The Rexar is able to chase him down with those axes. Muradin low as well, but he's got Stone Form to keep him alive for now, and then here comes the Stukov Heal to keep him up. There's the stun and the leap. Team Ripper's trying to get more out of that, but they're going to just have to be satisfied with a Chen kill. Not a bad turnaround at all by Team Rippers there. Pull and silence on the bear. The bear don't care. Bear don't care. Don't care, bear. What build is that, Uther? That's a damage Q build. Yeah, that's a full Q build. Interesting. With Benedict as well? Interesting, interesting. We're going to get some camps here. Let's take a look at some of the other builds we have here. We do have the lightning build from the Alarak. What are some other key ones? We didn't go stacking on the Sylvanas. Oh, big engage up here! Oh my gosh, I'm so blind. Rexstar, really in a questionable position. That's what I get for looking at the talents. Let's put that away before I get distracted again. Rexstar just being very far forward. I'm wondering what he was doing up there. I wish I was paying attention. Sorry, guys. But the Rexstar does get picked out and blown up immediately. Which means that Baby Makers are having the advantage for this next objective, which will be up in 10 seconds. I'm going to grab this Siege. Still looks like Team Rippers is trying to push top. That must have been what the Rexstar was trying to do. And just, oh my goodness, the lightning bolt into the pole and silence. But very well disengaged by Team Rippers. That sleep and the shot from the Rainer able to get everybody out just fine. So that was almost a catastrophe for Team Rippers. But they were able to turn it around and get out of there. Here comes the engage. Muradin misses his shot. Big damage on the Sylvanas. Muradin drops super low as well. What a ball! What a silence! What a combo! Oh my goodness! Alarak just melting the entire team. What an the arrow by the Sylvanas damage, the Alarak damage, and Team Ripper just gets obliterated. Orphea dropping as well. Baby Makers in the Dragon, immediately going for bottom lane. I think they're trying to end it. My goodness. Why is this Alarak doing so much damage? Didn't quite get that counter off. Holy cart. That was incredible. With this Sylvanas, that's such a threat too. Team Rippers is going to be up here shortly. The Orphea will be dead for another 30 seconds, but the rest of the team will be here to try and do something. But that is a very healthy Dragon Knight, and he's just going to auto-attack that core. Here comes the engage. Rexstar trying to stun out the team and prevent some of this damage. That Dragon is just clapping, though. Core is already down to 50%. Rexstar's low. There goes the pole. Yeah, Divine Shield on the Rainer, but he's not even taking damage. Yep, that's game. That is game. Dragon Knight, that was incredible. What an amazing combo by Baby Makers. They absolutely just obliterated Team Rippers. And that seems to be the trend in Heroic League, as far as I can tell. At least in the games that I've seen so far. Whoops, let's get the right thing. There we go. In the games I've seen so far, it's a lot of back and forth. It's anyone's game, it's anyone's game, it's anyone's game, and then there's one fight towards the end, and the team just immediately knows, this is our moment, this is our time, this is our victory condition, and without skipping a beat, just immediately get objective, go push core, win the game. And that's what Baby Makers did, and wow, what a freaking combo. I hope somebody goes back. I'm going to have to go back. If nobody clips that, I'm going to have to go back and clip that, because that was an incredible combo. All right, that was won by Baby Makers. So we are going to go into a game number 3 here in the Season 11 of NGS Heroic League. League, division, whatever. Same thing. Let's take a look at some of these stats. Lots of damage by that Alarak. He did not die a single time. He had sadism that entire time. What a god. What a god. There was a lot of damage coming out. That's great. I love that double support comp came out twice, and it got beat by both teams. Baby Makers pulled it out. Team Rippers able to clutch it out and take him out. Flip flop. Same thing. Fantastic. Heroic. Oops. Let's move this over to this one so you guys can see my pretty face for a minute. How you guys doing? I'm so busy talking. I haven't had any time to drink my wine. Damn you! What an exciting match. But yeah, that does seem to be the trend. It's almost like we could just like not watch the first 15 minutes of the game. Like it doesn't matter, right? Like both teams, it's gonna be pretty even. There's gonna be some kills. They're gonna push some forts. They're gonna push some keeps. Whatever. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, they're gonna hit 20. They're gonna do a big team fight. There's gonna be a big wombo. A bunch of people are gonna die. They're gonna get objective and then they just win. That seems to be the trend. So, oops. Let's ready up. Bum, 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 bum. I am ready. We are good to go. All right. Game number 3. And it looks like it is about to start. And wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. There it is. Here comes the draft. Oh, and it is Braxis Holdout. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So, Braxis Holdout as our game number 3. And here we go. All right. I suspect a Garrosh ban, a Medivh ban, a Tychus ban, and who was the last person they keep banning? Oh no, it was Diablo that time. And a Hogger ban. No, but Hogger was up and nobody took Hogger. What's up with that, guys? Come on. Where's my Hogger? Hogger, Hogger, Hogger. No, just me. Medivh. Garrosh. Garrosh. I actually don't know about this one. Hogger? Maybe? Maybe it'll be a targeted ban? This one's up in the air. Not sure. Maybe it'll be map specific. Maybe they'll ban like a Rexar or something, or maybe even the Chen. Oh, and the Uther ban. They said, you know what? We're done. No more Uther double comp. We're not going to do it. We're just going to ban it first stage. No longer an option. Okay, I like that actually a lot. I'm glad that got banned. As fun as it was to see double support, I'm glad that it is now banned and not an issue. Because apparently both teams are very good at dealing with that. So it hasn't necessarily... It's kind of just been like another team comp, right? It hasn't necessarily been super impactful. And an Orphea ban, interesting. Orphea has been picked both games, so not too surprising. But I wonder if there's going to be a Tychus now because they banned that every time. Tychus not as strong on Braxis Holdout or on Braxis Outpost though. Johanna and Stukov. All right, so we got some more standard tanks coming out. We got the Johanna and the Stukov, always a strong support with that combo, the slow, the silence, very strong for picks. When Blessed Shield comes out on the Johanna, which is what I suspect the Johanna will pick, it allows them to Blessed Shield into a slow, into a silence, and there's really nothing that target can do. They just die. In response, there's going to be a Thrall for the offlane and a Muradin for Team Rippers this time. So the Muradin going for that a little bit more aggressive tank, giving them some good stuns, some good ganking capability. Although they're probably going to be facing it down in the bot lane. But it does allow them to jump over some walls. Maybe we'll see some cheeky plays by the Muradin coming in for gigs or something along those lines. But just the ability to jump past the Johanna and hit into the back line is a very strong tool to have. Decker ban coming out, a strong healer, not too surprising there. And as the last ban, I wonder if they're going to continue the trend. Nope, they're going to ban the Maiev. So maybe a bit of a targeted ban. They do know that Babymakers has a strong Maiev player. Here is a Mephisto and a Sylvanas pick. So another Sylvanas, terrifying hero on Braxis Outpost, by the way. If you can get into a good position with a Sylvanas and a large Zerg wave push, you can do a lot of damage very early with that. And then Mephisto as the damage dealer as well. Actually, I think the Sylvanas and the Mephisto should be enough damage and wave clear. I like wave clear specifically. Sylvanas is actually very good at wave clear if she takes certain talents, and the Mephisto is surprisingly good at it, especially when there's a lot of Zerg stacked up. On the team of on the side of Team Ripper, They have the Ana as the healer and the Chromie as the spellcaster range damage. And then as the last pick for Baby Makers, they are going to take that Chen as the off lane. And I think Chen wins that matchup against Thrall. Well, hard to say. I hope this isn't the ARAM. It's kind of like an ARAM, right? Like 4 people go bot for like on both sides, and they just smack each other for a while. So honestly, it kind of is like an ARAM. You just have an offline that sits up top and doesn't really do much. They just slap each other, and one person takes over the objective. That is true on Brex's holdout. The top lane is a little bit more important, just because they control that top.
In progress. Prepare for combat.
This is an ARAM. Oh no! I wanted to see it. Honestly, I was about it. I was about it. I kind of wish they had played it out, honestly. That would have been a fantastic in between. I didn't realize that you were saying it was legit the ARAM. Wow. Oh my goodness. What shenanigans. That's hilarious. I think they should have played it, honestly. Man, I'm kind of sad. I really kind of wish they had played it, honestly. That would have been great. Oh, man. Oh. What silly shenanigans. Alright, they are recreating the lobby. Team Ripper's hopping in now. Pepe hands. Alright, next lobby up. I am ready. Let's hit that R button. Bip. There we go. Alright, and we are in standard, so we will be able to skip past the draft. I do have to ready up as the observer. And we should be hopping right into it as soon as everybody readies up. Meriden. I need you to hit that ready button, my friends. I guess we're not ready? Upload the replay. Nah, it shouldn't be a problem. Three, two, one. Step into it. Alright. Here we go. Switch back over to the in-game. Whoops. Hello. There we go. Alright. Now for real. Game 3. Baby Bakers versus Team Rippers. This is the last match. Winner takes all. Well, that's not true. Winner gets the most points. Loser gets some points, but not as many points. You get the picture. Alright. I'm excited. This is going to be anybody's game. I feel like it's going to come down to a single... Well, I don't know, man. It's Brax's holdout, right? So, like, I would say that this is going to come down to a single team fight, just like all the other games have been, pretty much. But to be honest, I don't think that's going to be the case. This map, in particular, can be so snowbally. Like, it can stagnate out. Like, you can definitely kind of get into a stalemate where neither team can really push to win. But an early advantage, especially with somebody like a Sylvanas, is very hard to deal with on this map in particular. So both teams, though, seem very, very, very skilled at being able to disengage, not losing too much. Like, if they lose, they only lose a couple heroes. They don't completely get demolished, except for in those big team fights at the end of the game. So I'm really curious to see if this turns into a snowball or if it stays even like the last games have been. Yeah, I'm curious also to see who wins this fight. The Chen versus Thrall matchup. I need to learn my offlanes a little bit better. Johanna just so tanky, so hard to deal with, that shield. But the Chromie is happy to just sit back and shoot, and with an Ana to heal, they're going to have a really tough time dealing with this poke. So there's a lot of poke coming out from Team Rippers in the form of just the Chromie alone. And then the Muradin is going to just be able to jump in, jump out, heal back up, no problem. Ana can just sit back and shoot people as needed to keep them alive. Zul'jin kind of getting a little bit out of position, slowed, drops pretty low, but is healed up by the Ana and is going to be just fine. Meanwhile, Muradin jumping in to try to disrupt them as much as possible. Runs to the time stop, does get time stopped. Oh, but it's not enough. That Mephisto jumps out and does just enough damage to kill that Muradin. That was almost a fantastic save by the Chromie and the Muradin using that time stop, but just not quite enough. Very well played by that Mephisto to jump in and take that last bit of damage to kill that Muradin. Yeah, okay, this is what I thought. I kind of thought that Thrall was going to lose this engagement. Chen fully healthy, Thrall not in a good spot. So I suspect that that will continue, which means it's really on Baby Makers to do something about that. Try to rotate him, get a gank. They're trying to get this camp, but instead Muradin jumps on, steals it, kills the Stukov. The Zul'jin does get turned on and does drop. Muradin jumping out. So it does turn into a 1-for-1 trade, but that favors Team Rippers as they are able to steal that camp, which just gives them some free push onto that fort, or onto that wall. Yeah, looking back up at top. Yeah, this Thrall is going to be... Yeah, this Thrall is going to really struggle, I think, against that Chen. I think that was a very smart pick by Baby Makers to pick that Chen to be able to just dominate the top lane. Some good damage onto that Johanna, but with that shield, she's going to be just fine. But honestly, Team Rippers is fine with just backing out, resetting, healing up. Okay, yeah, see, and here's that rotation by Team Rippers to come up and make sure that they get that camp. Meanwhile, down here, they are going to try to jump onto the Muradin, but too tanky. He's going to be just fine. Walks out, no problem. Chromie, I think, went back for mana, I suppose, and is rotating back down. Chen just jumping right back onto the objective, and that Thrall, I don't think, can do anything about it. Big engage here. Johanna dropping low. Mephisto about half health. There's the Stukov heal. They're going to be just fine. Good damage onto the back line of Team Rippers. Muradin dropping to about health. Zul'jin about health. Ana about half health. Some good damage. But they do back out and wait for those resets and those heals, which gives Team Rippers time to heal up. Zoom out some. Johanna just such a frontline tank. It's so hard to fight into a Johanna. Some engage onto the Zul'jin. He drops low, but Muradin is able to peel, jumps out, and is just fine. And he's going to just heal up, no problem. Chen kills the Thrall in top lane. Yeah. Yeah, saw that one coming. Thrall's going to have a rough time up there against that Chen. Chen is such a strong solo laner. Very hard to deal with. Which, again, just leaves Team Rippers in a bad spot. They have to... It is on them to go up and be able to gank that top and take that objective. All Baby Makers has to do is do enough damage to force Team Rippers off so that they can get this objective. They are already almost done. They're at 80%. So they're in a very good position. If they can just heal up, get reset, get a pick, or just do enough damage to force them off, then they can finish this objective and get that first early Zerg wave. Good damage on the Sylvanas with that Chromie. Time stop. Johanna's on the point. Muradin at about half health. Another time stop on that point. What an annoying time. With some very annoying time stops to kind of just be in the way, prevent them from really doing what they want to do. Johanna about half health, but you just can't kill a Johanna in this situation like this. Not with a Stukov. Here comes the heal. Or no, it's probably on cooldown. There's the time stop, some damage. There goes the shield. Just fine. Zul'jin drops to about half health, but he's healing up. Muradin trying to stand on the point. He's at about half health, but with the Ana heals, he's going to be pretty healthy pretty quick. Here comes the Stukov heals. Mephisto damage. Good God. There's no progress being made. They just, a bunch of damage. This is Jin. Looks like he's in a bad spot though. Oh, he has to run completely the wrong direction. He's gonna die, right? Like, there's no way. There it goes. Okay. Which means Baby Makers gets the objective, and that's an early Zergway push. Yeah, that Thrall just not able to contest that at all. Which means Team Rippers is now on the back foot. This is a weak Zerg wave. And up here in the top wave, we've got this massive Zerg wave that's going to come do a ton of damage. Team Rippers is rotating up in order to try and clear it out as fast as possible. Chromie damage onto those main objectives. They don't have a lot of wave clear. Like, they have the Zul'jin auto attacks to clear some of these bigger units, but other than his spinning swords, or axes, and Chromie's W, they don't have a whole lot to just clear out the entire wave all in one go. Here comes the rewind on the Sylvanas. Is going to be just fine, though. Was that an unstoppable? I'm not entirely sure what that was. But he's going to be... I can't think of what that unstoppable was. That was weird. It should have teleported him back, but it didn't do that at all. Down here, Thrall's fighting the Muradin. Engage onto the Thrall. Sorry, not Thrall. He is going to be able to walk out just fine. That's not Thrall at all. That's a Muradin and a Chen just slapping each other. That's an interesting fight, honestly. But, again, Chen, too freaking strong in the solo lane. What do you do against that? Instead, we are going to be taking some camps. Team Rippers taking their siege. Team Baby Makers taking both camps. They are looking to push both lanes and get this experience lead. They are about to hit 10. Which means they're going to be in a very strong position to try and come up and do something. As an engage here, I'm curious to see where they go. It looks like they want to posture for a top push. Here's their 10 advantage. They're ready to go. We do have Blessed Shield. We do have the push. We have Durance coming out from the Mephisto. We have a barrel for the Chen and a silence for the Sylvanas. And there is the Blessed Shield. There's the Durance. My goodness, that Muradin not going anywhere. The Mephisto does get time lapse back, but is able to walk away. That's such a good counter to Mephisto. Mephisto jumps forward, tries to do a bunch of damage. The Chromie just time lapses him, and he's going to come back into a bad position. That Zul'jin, unfortunately, had nowhere safe to go. Does get picked as well, which means now Baby Maker's in a very good position. Strong lead, able to push up this wall. And it looks like, oh, big stun on Stukov. He drops super low, but yeah, with the Johanna out there to defend, Stukov is able to walk away just fine, and he's going to heal up no problem. Meanwhile, yeah, again, this Chen, too hard to deal with. What do you do against this? What do you do against this? Oh my goodness, no. No. No! 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 What a play! What a play! Blessed Shield coming out, Zul'jin getting rooted. Does do the Taz Dingo. Muradin dropping low as well in the back line. Zul'jin does drop. Muradin dropping low as well. The Johanna's super low. Savan is super low. Mephisto's super low. But they all walk away scot-free. What a play by this Chen. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen that before. What? What is this? What a bully, dude. Oh my god. Just barreled him into a corner and then body blocks him as he just chugs away on his fucking... on his stupid keg. Oh, that has to be frustrating. That is so frustrating. Very well played by Baby Makers. The Chen making things happen. The rest of his team coming in clutch, getting into position, turning it into a fantastic fight. They are going to be holding this objective. And with the Chen coming in with the barrel, putting the Chromie into a bad position, they're not in a safe place. The Durance comes out, but it misses. But that silence, it doesn't even matter. Chromie is in the time stop, but she's not going anywhere. And she drops as well. There she goes. Muradin drops super low as well, but he's able to jump out. Oh, but Izzy with the Mephisto damage, and the Sylvanas jumping out. The Ana now getting jumped on. Drops low, but is able to walk away. The Zul'jin, though, can't move. He can't. He goes nowhere. He drops. Is not even able to drop Tazdingo. Which means Baby Maker isn't going for the... Somebody top this Chen! Thank you! My goodness, this Chen is a monster. And he just gets out scot-free. What a jerk. Malthanius. MVP, also largest ass. What a jerk. Good God, look at this push. There is so many Zergs, and the Zul'jin gets just pushed into it by the barrel. Malthanius is just absolutely bullying this team. Zul'jin still has Tazdingo. He drops very low. The Durance comes out on him, and there's the Tazdingo. Very well timed. But I don't think he can get away fast enough. He does drop. The Crummy also getting jumped on. This is what I was talking about, Brax's holdout being a snowball-y map. Oh my goodness. That is game. That is absolutely game. 11 minutes in. 11 minutes and 30 seconds in. Second objective, I think? Maybe third. My goodness. Malthanius, MVP, very clearly. What a cheeky play. Oh my goodness. That was enjoyable. Oh my gosh. I'm clicking the wrong things. There we go. There's the game summary. Holy crap. All right, Baby Makers gonna take game number 3. They lost the first one, I think. Yeah, they lost the first one and then turned around with a 2-0 victory, making it 2-1. Baby Makers being the victors. What a match. That was fantastic. That was a 17 kill 1-to-1 kill match. This is what I'm talking about as far as like Heroic League being very good at making their losses not super impactful. Like, it was snowbally. Baby Makers did kind of take control of the map, especially towards the end there, and they just kind of snowballed into victory. But the fact that it didn't end sooner is honestly like props to Team Rippers, because even though they were getting killed, even though they were losing top lane, they were losing in the 4-man, they still didn't lose too hard. Like, every time that they lost something, they were able to kind of still recover just enough that it wasn't completely about to get crushed. Like, I feel like if this was a quick match and this was the stats, it should have been over much sooner. Just because, like, my goodness, look at this. Stukov, the only person that was able to die on the team on Baby Makers. I'm still geeking out about that Chen. What a Chen play, my goodness. Holy crap. All right.